and welcome back to the Super Sentai Super Show. I'm Fiber Silly, and I am
And
joined.
I'm Justice Ray.
Yeah, I'm joined by Justice Ray, my friend. We're here about Sentai and shit. I don't know.
Mm.
I messed up this intro.
I probably didn't help stomping on that intro
Nah,
just a
you're
bit.
you're good. You're good. Um, it is my fault.
I'm trying to do a call and response thing.
Yeah. So, how you doing, Ray? What you been up to?
Mostly been painting. I don't know if
Mm,
you saw on my Facebook, but I put the key work on my denim jacket, my patch jacket I've been working on for the last few years.
not the keywork from the Amory Wars.
Yes, I am. Yes, that
Oh
one.
man.
What?
I
I
mean, I've
I, I I
always
know
been.
you. I know you have your opinion on Code and Cambria because you've listened to the music and read all the books and such, or at least have an informed opinion.
Yeah, I think that Claudio Sanchez is kind of a fucking hack. Um,
Mm.
Fun music, word salad,
Yeah,
word
it's fun music
salad.
word salad.
Uh, but the story itself for that whole universe is bad.
Yeah, but it's a cute symbol, and I felt it
Fair
was
enough.
poignant. It's
Fair
it, it
enough.
it's neat to go to each their own. I guess that would be the
Yeah.
sentence I would use for that. Otherwise, I've been like putting together a deck in Magic and trying to uh, get back into playing Fable 2. I don't think I've ever finished it.
Hmm.
So far, I've just been spending most of my time skipping conversations and just yelling at people who I was flirting with, saying that they want me to change my look or um, in some way, shape, or form, like conform to their desires.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't even flirt with you. All I did was go with my arms up because that's just a great way to get renowned. But now this woman's all on me over in Bowerstone, and I'm like, could you like take it down just a notch? I wasn't trying to flirt with you. Oddly propositioned me, telling me to change my look around, like because I'm wearing the Highwindman mask, which makes me look like the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if I'm sorry if this look doesn't suit you, I'm not here for this. Okay, I'm here to slay bandits and save the day. And if you keep hounding me, I'm going to take you. I'm gonna ask you to come out on a date with me. I'm going to take you to Temple of Shadows and sacrifice you.
Goodness.
That is an option you can do with Fable 2. I don't know if you ever played it.
I was so disappointed with Fable 1 that no, I did not.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, the combat is shit. But like the funny things you can do in the game, are, like especially kicking chickens. Like I just get a lot of kicks out of just like literally kicking chickens. But as far as like things you can do, if you wanted to get negative renown or just like evil points,
Mm-hmm.
you can just take random villagers, like even those who own shops, and just like woo them with like seduce them, ask them on a date, they'll follow you, and then you just take them to Temple of Shadows, and they'll even warp with you, and you just take them to Temple of Shadows and sacrifice them for this evil pyramid scheme. They literally tell you it's a scheme.
All right then.
Like they use the word scheme, and I was just,
Right.
are you just gonna use the word? All right, they're so brazen about it. Oh, and to enter the Temple of Shadows, you have to enter. You have to eat 5 chicks that the guy just gives you. So he gives you 5 little chicks,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta literally eat them right in front of him. And he starts gagging at the third one. He's like, "Most people died after the third." I'm like, I'm a bit of sterner stuff. Now let me in your group so that way I can sacrifice people.
Gosh. Not
Yeah.
not not a road I would take.
No, no, of course not. Like, like we said, to each their own. However morbid it may be. But yeah, we're here for Super Sentai. But allow me to flip the question. What have you done this last 2 weeks?
Oh wow, what have I done? A lot. Mostly just work. Just work. Um
Hmm.
Modded Skyrim to heck and back, only to play for like a couple hours and get
Hmm.
disappointed that I can't get some of the mods to work. I won't say what mods, but cannot get them to work.
I'm just gonna guess Randy Savage and just go from there.
Sure.
Sure, sounds about right. Yeah, Randy's savage.
Yeah, I just uh and I'm sure I could troubleshoot it. I'm sure I could get them to work if I wanted to spend a ton of time on it. I mean, I already did spend
Right.
a ton of time on it, but that's not the point. If I
I
wanted to
spent
spend
more
even
time,
more time on troubleshooting, but no, thanks.
more time than I'm willing to.
Yeah. Watching wrestling, watching tons of wrestling.
What'd you think of
Um,
the Rumble?
I don't watch WWE. Fuck Vince McMahon.
Oh,
Fuck Vince McMahon.
right.
Like, if anybody's listening to this, if anybody's listening to this podcast at all, and you're a Vince McMahon fan, fuck him.
He wasn't at the show.
Yeah, but he owns the company and he makes
I
money
I
off
got it.
every fucking view. Fuck him. Sorry.
None.
No, I don't watch WWE.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
That was lost on me.
So, yeah, I heard that the Rumble was good though from people who did watch it. So, if you watched it and you enjoyed it, once again, sort of to each their own thing. It's just not a thing that I will ever personally endorse until Vince McMahon is dead.
Right, I get it.
I mean, hopefully, upon his passing, wrestlers start getting treated better in that company, and then I'd be like, yeah, let's watch WWE. But until that point, until that time, it's not happening. Yeah. Let's see. What did I watch? I watched New Beginnings and Nagayo for New Japan last
Oh,
week.
so I'm looking forward to the Kenta Moxley match, especially after Dynamite this week.
Do you mean the Kenta Moxley match that is happening at New Japan Strong here in
Yes,
America, or do you mean the Kenta Moxley match that's happening next week with Kenny Omega and Lance Archer in a lights out anything goes match?
I feel like you wanted to ask that question mostly to promote the match that was going to occur, rather than for
No,
me to
I'm
update, because
I'm
I'm looking
wondering.
forward to both matches. Obviously, like
I didn't know if you knew about that the second
no,
match.
I knew about the second match
Okay.
because I followed social media.
Oh, I'm so pumped for that. Like, what is the over under? Do you think of Kenta just turning on Kenny at the end of that match? Like he works with Kenny during the match, but after the match, what do you think the
I
over
mean,
under is?
he has his purpose,
Mm-hmm.
so it's more a matter of like, now that I'm done, your ass, your happy ass, I need to take care of.
Right.
But I don't. It depends, because I feel like the deal was only to allow Moxley to defend his title in Japan, and like to get Kenta. That was the back scratching purpose of this match. Sorry, that was a burp. But yeah, I feel like the purpose of the matches were to scratch each other's back. But as far as like any relationship can go in the future, I'm sure they're all just waiting for travel restrictions to come up, like to live, and then like the world is their oyster, and I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah. Tamatonga on Twitter last night said, "Hey Kenta, while you're there, could you fucking slap up Kenny Omega?" So that's just why I'm asking. Like, and Jay White's been talking about the real Bullet Club in a lot of his promos lately.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I'm wondering what kind of angle they're angling for.
Well, of course, we're waiting for like clarity, but in the same token, like I've never really liked Jay White.
That's fair.
Like I always felt he's just like the replacement Kenny Omega, like the one they can't keep, which is unfair.
That is unfair. They have two different wrestling styles.
I know I'm not being fair to both of them, but like it just feels like this is the guy we can keep, so we're just gonna push him to the moon. So here's both titles over a 1 year span, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
pass.
But he doesn't have both titles.
I know, not like no, I meant like over the year,
Right.
and year and a half that Kenny like left.
Right.
Yeah, so it just felt like eh, pass.
Definitely, definitely been enjoying AEW because that's like the main brand I watch. But fun stuff happening on Impact too.
Hmm.
Like Impact.
Yeah. I'm curious as where they're going with Eddie Edwards. Like,
Yeah.
I always feel lost whenever people tell me, "Oh yes, Eddie Edwards is doing X and Y," and I'm like, "Man, I miss him in the American Wolves. What the hell happened?" Like, I mean, David Richards is the longest left the company, and I'm just like, all right, well, I missed American Wolves, but here's Eddie Edwards. Yay.
I'm just always surprised about Tommy Dreamer still wrestling.
Oh, like when he did the Busted Challenge video with Tasha Hogan and with Tasha and Kiera,
Uh huh.
and like dropping down on on his 50-year-old bump taking knees and being able to bust it out. I'm like, man, shout outs to growth. Like there is no way that a man who takes the money amount of bumps that Tommy Dreamer is known for, like the innovator of violence and all that,
Right.
and still be able to just go down on his knees like that without like the video cutting out and being like call the guy, call the doctor.
Poor Tommy.
I'm stuck here.
It's like, and everybody in like various chats are like really upset he's getting some kind of a title shot with Rick Swan, but he's not gonna win it. Come
They're
on.
just padding. They're just padding time.
Yeah.
Like the way I see it, just padding time until travel restrictions allow them to have an opportunity to just do bigger things. Like the whole like gravitation of the wrestling world that's non WWE is just so like ripe for what's to come. But we have to wait like I guess a year and some change for the whole vaccinations to go through and then go from there.
Ugh,
Um,
the vaccinations. Yike.
yeah, especially since that damn WWE said, "Oh yeah, that independent contractor thing. We're gonna remind you that you guys are independent contractors. You got to handle your own vaccines." And I was like, "Ah, dick move, guys." Dick.
Yeah, considering they made them like, essential employees and whatever.
Yeah, I would have revolted. Like there would have been fire at Connecticut. Like how fucking dare you? You have exposed like I could have just stayed home and not exposed myself to this virus and been safe until my own vaccination, but like you guys demanded that like I
That they
either
be here.
that I be here and work and build my brand because I can't, if I don't wrestle I don't get paid, but if I dare to aspire to do anything with Twitch, no, you guys need to cut the money. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't watch WWE. Because of how they treat their performers. Which is always, it's gonna be forever funny to me that people kept saying to me, "Oh, wait until AJ Styles talks to Vince about the third party platforms, then he'll see." And
He
then
has no backbone.
and then
If AJ had
AJ came back and was like, "No, Vince got a point." So it's like,
No, AJ Styles is an idiot. Like if he has no backbone because like if he had any backbone and any chance during TNA, he would have complained against Hogan being hired to help Impact. Like he can be easily duped into anything. He is like AJ gullible, AJ naive.
I just call him
He
the new
just
Hogan because
uh
he's willing to stab his compatriots in
no
the back for a paycheck.
no no, he is the new Sting. He will believe anything.
Oh, don't be like that. Don't just sting like that.
No,
Ew.
Sting is the dumbest man in wrestling, and I mean that kayfabe wise,
Ah,
not the dumbest man in real life. Like no,
right.
Sting has protected his brand for years. I mean, moment of truth notwithstanding, but yeah, like as far as like wrestling Sting is concerned, dumbest man in wrestling.
So yeah, but that's what I've been up to. That and work. Oh, and I caught up on One Piece, the manga, which was a task.
Oh yeah, so you have discovered their first trans character,
No, not the
and
first one.
and
Just the first one that they're
not the
doing really
like
well with.
okay. I guess I spoke out of turn, but yeah, Kaido's daughter, right?
No.
Oh, wait, what was I thinking of?
I
The one
mean,
that's the one that's
the thing with Kaido's offspring, and I'm gonna say offspring, is
oh, sorry, that is the right term.
I don't know what's going on with them necessarily. They want to be Odin, right? But I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that necessarily means that they're trans. Like, Kaido does call them his son, and like it's like, which is really weird in my opinion. That Kaido's just like so on board for that. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, cause Kaido's kind of an asshole.
Uh-huh.
You would expect it anyway. That's not the point. So I don't know what's up with Yamato
Mm-hmm.
and what that status is. I'm talking about Kiku.
Oh, Kiku.
Yeah. Oh, at
Right.
least I was talking about Kiku on Twitter this morning.
Okay.
Um, there's
All
a
right. I got mixed up.
That's cool. There's a moment um, during the Wano arc where they like put on their mask to show like the Wano people who they are, because it's been 20 years,
Oh
and they're
yeah.
like, oh, that's Kiku, like the most handsome swordsman so ever. Everybody thought he was a woman, and I believe Chopper says, "You're a man," and Kiku says, "Well, I'm a woman in my heart," and
No.
yeah, and always presents as a woman. Everybody, calls her she, her pronouns and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Oh, hey, there it went. Sorry, I'm in my recording studio,
yeah.
and I was wondering like where the fuck my super glue was that has the brush nozzle on it, and I finally found it.
Oh, there you
So
go.
now I can stick my super glue on the back of my googly eyes and just randomly torment my girlfriend with with randomly sticking googly eyes on my posters, and now she has to find out which ones are actually newly added googly eyes. And sometimes I just like take them out so that way I can lure her into false sense of security.
Right.
But I put googly eyes on my Andre the Giant poster. Now it just stares down at me. It's like almost giving me the look that says obey,
Wow.
but with the googly eyes. I have fun.
But yeah, no, I am totally caught up on One Piece to the point where I'm like, oh, cool. Now I have to wait weekly for this to come out.
Yeah, like the rest of us. All
Yeah.
the rest of us plebes. I mean, it could be worse. You could be all caught up on Hajime no Ippo and just wait till whenever they feel like releasing, or
Yeah.
the Berserk manga.
Yeah, I don't like either of those mangas though.
I mean, yeah, some has some really suspect stories, uh, but like, at least Hajime no Ippo is like concrete. But like they did hit a point where like I feel that they might have jumped the shark, but I still have to see where they're going from there.
Right.
But like as soon as like Ippo like got punch drunk, I'm like, oh my god, they're writing the end of this manga, aren't they? But no, they have proceeded to not do so because they have so many other boxes to follow. I think he's gonna be writing those written that manga until he dies. The same way Oda-san says, "Oh yeah, I have an ending in mind." Liar. I know there's gonna be an end. This has to be an end.
Yeah.
But he has written so many paths for the story to go that I don't even think like that end is gonna be within sight for the next like 6 years. Like we still have the Revolutionary Army like being attacked by Blackbeard. Like Blackbeard's still running around. You have the
Well, they already
uh,
they already did that. The
I'm
latest thing that happened with the Revolutionary Army is something happened with Sabo at the Celestial wherever place that they had like the big party
the
for
Reverie.
the Reverie. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
No,
we have
it's
no idea what that is about.
well, the Reverie decided to punish the Shichibukai,
Mm.
which is cute until you know that like you guys picked us for us being the strongest pirates. You're gonna turn on us now, cute.
Yeah.
All I see is gonna be a whole bunch of statues over at uh, Boa Hancock's Island and a lot of cut victims at Mihawk's mansion. And Buggy, I guess, will make a power move. I hope, because he's like his inner monologue is like, "Please, you guys, save me from this situation."
Yeah. Buggy's getting out of there. He's bugging out. But yeah,
So
I don't know if there's actually an ending in mind. I feel like the creator makes up stories on the fly. Honestly.
nah, I always felt Oda-san is like at least put seeds in the ground. Like he's not just pulling story plots out of the like to keep the story going. Like
I mean, I guess I feel like
it's
the samurai stories have changed. Like first, and maybe it has always been meant to they are 20 years from the past, like
mm-hmm.
time travel. Maybe that's always been the thing. I just feel like that was like tacked on, like weirdly
but
all of a sudden.
like it's an ass pull.
Not
I mean,
not necessarily an ass pull. Just like he's like, oh wait, this would also be cool.
it's not as much of an ass pull as Ichigo.
Oh
Like
no, you cannot get me started on Bleach. I won't stop. So instead, let's talk about Sentai before we.
that's good. That's good. I didn't want this to become a Tite Kubo podcast. This is just and a full brain. Fuck you.
Oh man, no thanks. Once I get started on Bleach, I will not stop for like 2 hours, and that's not what this podcast is about. So, we watched episode 3, The Eagle Vanishes, which
It's a great title.
it's a great title. I mean, this is only episode 3, but this is possibly one of the lamest Sentai monsters I have ever seen in my life. I hate it.
I mean, it's
The plot's
not
great either.
Oh yeah, but it's like it was okay. I mean, did you want to know what the American title is?
Oh yeah, sure, go for it because I didn't want to watch it this week.
It's Click Click Zoom.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was that year.
Yeah, I guess it was that year. Like, I hate it.
In the era of saliva, we have a song. We have an episode called "Click Click Zoom."
I wish I could erase this from my mind. I hate this.
So
I hate
yeah,
this.
so I watched both episodes like back to back, and so I'll be able to tell you about when the point where they start transitioning away from the story.
I imagine. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. My prediction is they are going to move away from. Oh no, they're dying.
Well, no. They kind of go into it, but in the same aspects. Like, I will have like a gripe, and it actually kind of starts with the episode's beginning, between the two.
Well, in the episode's beginning, we get a look at a new org, a new one horde. He is Shuten, the Highness Duke org. And
so
I'm confused about Shuten. Is he like
okay? So Shuten is not in the like introduced in Wild Force.
What?
Like at all. The one person who entered the one who enters the plot from Shuten's entrance in the Sentai is Master Org in episode 3. And then we have like Master Org basically being the guy shouting at Jindrax and Toxica for like the whole show. So we don't get the Duke orgs, like we don't get the general orgs so much. Mm-hmm. We just like unless they're like a souped up like they come off like being stronger than the Duke orgs by virtue of like being general orgs, and this is their time to get slain. But like they don't really it's always a 3-man show in Wild Force, so it's just Master Org, Jindrax, and Toxica.
I see. Mm-hmm. So okay, so Shuten isn't like the leader. He's like a go-between. Is that correct?
As far as like sort he's a general org,
right?
But
he's not like he's not like the one above all.
No.
Okay. All right.
Not for this show.
Okay, that was my confusion. I was like, this is like because I think I remember like Master Org from the few episodes of Wild Force that I've seen. I was like, are we waiting for like where's this guy? So that's why I thought necessarily somewhere in the back of my mind was coming through. So that's why I was confused about Shuten. Okay, why wouldn't they just introduce Shuten?
No, well, they introduced several generals, like throughout the show. So like he might be the Highness Duke org, but like he's the first of several who will be introduced.
Well, that's what I mean. Why don't they just introduce him in Wild Force?
Where,
Eh.
nah, no, because they had to establish the plot that they were going to have for the Master Org in Wild Force.
Ah, I see.
In,
I see.
in case you're curious, what the name of the Wild Force equivalent of Shuten is, it's Retinax, because he's an eye themed creature. Um, he does say that he's a personal bodyguard for um, the Master Org, and he doesn't really get introduced that long.
Mm. Mm.
But they do have, and we'll get to it as we get further in this episode. They do cut to a flashback of original footage of the attack on Animarium by the Master Org and everybody else.
Mm.
So they kind of established that part.
Okay.
But as far as like the origin of Shuten versus the origin of Retinax, Retinax was introduced in Wild Force, having been wandering the Earth in shame for like a millennia after the original Master Org was destroyed by the five defenders, or six. There were six, but five. They only refer to five defenders.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. So Shuten appears, and they're like,
Mhm.
and he's got like, look, Gaorangers are getting in our way. They destroyed a lot of fucking orgs, but no, that's not him. It's the other two. They're like, hey, the Power Rangers keep getting in our way, or the Gaorangers.
Mhm.
And one of them's like, hey, stop making excuses. You're gonna make us look weak. Only for Shuten to go, hey, yo, it's cool because an omnipotent force is going to guide us. I'm going to tell you the will of the Org Master, which is like a big stone,
Mhm.
which was fire. And the other two are like kind of worried about it, and they're like, hey, don't. He's like, hey, be chill. The Master Org is not angry at you. There's no anger in his voice. He's like, just continue to cause trouble for those on the surface. That's the deal.
It's all part of the plan. This is a multi-stage plan to take over the world. We got
Exactly.
this.
Then we go to Hayama City, which I probably mispronounced. It's fine. And a camera gets
Just remember your vowel pairs. Your vowel pairs.
My vowel pairs. Anyway, a camera gets possessed. I hate this.
If it makes you feel any better, in Wild Force they don't even go into the fact that it's an actual camera.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better for Wild Force.
The org just shows up. There's not even a kid.
Oh, see, that's...
Yeah, the org shows up, takes pictures of people. Ipso facto telemundo. We get to the plot, so you never see the fact that it actually simulates a camera.
Neat. But basically, this camera's flying through the air, and it like just phases through a window and lays out a price for itself, which I believe
it's about $19.
It's about $19.
$19, yeah.
Yeah, which not bad for a camera at all.
Oh no, that is an inarguable price.
Yeah, I understand why the kid bought it.
So what I'm saying is, like, this store opens up, and I'm pretty sure they check their stock. They do dollar up. I mean, they got to merchandise their product.
Right.
Like, the store owner at no point looks at the price tag and just goes, "The fuck is this? I don't remember." Wait, not only do I not remember putting this camera up, why am I selling this camera at $20 converted after yen? So it's like 1970 yen. That is an important. Like, I would have changed the price right there, but apparently we don't merchandise our stock in Japan because that's the only way this plot is going to work out. And as a merchandiser by trade, I'm offended. Like, no way. Well, there's no way that it hasn't entered a stock system. It's the 2000s. I mean, I guess they don't really have Microsoft Excel to work on like stock There's no way that this camera was like purchased through the itemized system in the store, and they just go, yeah, it checks out. Take us $20.
Maybe the store saw it was an ugly ass camera. It was like, who the fuck puts horns?
Who put horns on this?
This fucking camera. This is awful.
I'm gonna fire my stock boy.
That's why you let it go.
There's gonna be a stock person shit can for this.
It's like that's why you let the camera go for $20. It fucking has horns and it sucks.
And this kid's $20 is never coming back to.
Nope.
Nope.
Mister, my camera turned into a monster. Could I get a different camera? No.
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 In fact, how dare you?
How dare you?
Go to school. Be a better student. Be better.
But the camera menacingly says, "Will someone press my shutter?" Which extra sucks.
Sus. Camera sus.
But we cut to this kid walking in the day. His lens is cracked, which I feel is cheaper to replace than getting like a whole new camera. But
But is it like $20 cheaper?
I don't know. That's a good point. He's taking a look at all these cameras, which are like, $37, $40. And then he gets to the $20 camera. He's like, whoa, that price is insane. I gotta get it. Actually, I think I'm reading those prices wrong. Because at 37,000, it'd be like 300, right? Something like that. What's our guess?
Yeah, if it's like five digits, yeah, it's about $300. That said, for camera repair service, yeah, like as far as like repairing lenses is concerned, like it's about a 3 to 5 week turnover, and costs average about $100 to $200, $250, depending on your repair issue.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's just me like looking at like GaryCameraDigital.com. Shout outs to Gary Camera. But that's their rates for to repair the lenses. So
gotcha.
before we go, oh man, maybe it's so easy to replace the lens.
Yeah,
like hell no.
I take that back. Also, it takes like a couple of weeks to do it. This kid has a photo contest to win. He can't wait a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you can't wait a couple of weeks. You can't just go to Best Buy and get this repaired.
Yeah. We cut to the title card, which is Quest 3, The Eagle Vanishes, and we're going into the animal, Gaoranger Rock. And the Rangers are going over bulletin points that Gao Red has come up with. Yellow hates this.
Okay, I need to pause this. So, where did you get this printed?
I don't know.
Also, 5 Rangers for that many paper, for that much paper to print out is not like. I hope that they got economically and like eco-friendly paper for this job, because there's no way that this season of Rangers is so like eco-friendly and protect the earth and the animals and everything of the sort. I'm pretty sure protect the trees is also included. Like, we got to protect the fauna too. We can't just protect we got to protect the flora and the fauna.
No.
Where is this guy?
We're all about the animals over here.
I'm imagining that he had the princess's help in this, and she's just holding 2 cords, like one for the printer and one for the laptop charger, so that way he can get this job done. Because I don't think that Miriam has a Kinko's, and it's all just for cheeky rules. Like, how dare you? How much time do you have to type this up? He's just sitting there in the lab, just like.
Gao Red has too much time on his hands.
Too much time.
But these are.
I didn't see a computer and a printer and any of the stuff he was lugging over from his place like the last episode.
He went over
I'm
to
just saying.
Starbucks.
So, also another pause. If we go to Wild Force, Cole is the one-handed the other guy. It's I think he was just looking over the instruction manual that was left over in the year's passenger, and he's the one who thinks that all these rules are basura, and just goes, the only rule we need is teamwork. And it just causes Taylor to leave, and she just goes, "How dare you underscore my efforts here? I was here before all of you. Like rules are core to my, are core to my soul. It's my thing. Yeah. So, how dare you discredit my rules?" And then leaves, and then goes off on their own.
So it's the opposite here, more or less. Okay. Because Red's like, "Hey, everybody start reading over these rules. Read them out loud, please." And each rule is basically work together, more or less. Mm-hmm. The first one's called the implementation of spinach, to which Gal Blue says, "I hate spinach. This sucks. I hate this." It's badly named.
Oh yeah, terrible. So shout like this is a better Cole episode than it is Gal Red episode. Like better than like Cole comes off a little better than Gal Red in the
Yeah,
in the flip flop. But I guess that's just because they looked at the footage and went, like, Cole doesn't seem the kind of guy who would actually just sit in front of an office, like
Cole's
just
dumb.
typing like. Yeah, Cole's like rock stupid. Like he doesn't have the
He doesn't have the
like
know-how.
he came out from the jungle like not even like 2 weeks ago.
Came
Like
out with
he's
the
not he doesn't
jungle.
understand
Doesn't
he doesn't
understand the
understand kink.
world.
What the fuck is a kinkos? Is that a new animal I didn't meet yet? Is that a new Zord that we're gonna have? Like
Cole, fresh from the jungle, doesn't know the world. 140 typing speed. How?
this WPS is astounding. Are you sure he's new? George of the Concrete Jungle. I look forward to this remake.
Yeah. But Gaora's like, hey, I know I named this shitty, but it basically means you can't work alone. You know, discuss, report, contact and discuss and all that shit. I did that in a weird order, but everybody's like, what? This is
it's terms of engagement.
Yeah, it's terms of engagement.
Like, and any other form of like combat of forces, this would be sound. You would have to read this, and like Army, Navy, Air Force, even the Space Force, I imagine is going to get a manual within the next year, letting them know how to operate
a Space Force for very much longer.
That is for the joke. Just let me have the joke.
Okay.
We need to continue. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But, I have one catchphrase and I have whatever jokes I can have. Just let me have this.
So
we're only 3 weeks in.
So Gao Red asks Gao Yellow to read the next article, and it's just titled "Don't Act Alone," to which he could not be less understanding about this.
Hypocritical.
He hates this. He hates this so much.
He's allergic to it, and he's like, I gotta leave the building. I'm out.
Yeah. But Gao Red's like, hey, the orgs are an organization, thus acting alone is strictly forbidden. We gotta work as a team. We need strategy. It's carefully planned and detailed. And Gao Yellow's like, shut the fuck up. I'm out of here. This sucks. And he leaves. White chases after him, and she's like, hey, wait, come on. He's just trying to be the best leader he can be. And he's like, oh yeah, he's so ready for this. And he still walks away. And she's like, oh.
Yellow dripping of sarcasm.
Yeah. She's like, oh, you suck, as he leaves. We cut back over to the kid who's got the org camera, and he's being a creep.
Yeah. Super creep.
Yeah, just comes across a couple ready to get their smooch on, and he takes a picture of them going in for the smooch. And they're like, hey, get the fuck out of here. And he runs away.
You're ruining the groove.
You're ruining the groove.
Next scene is the kid just flying over a railing. Sorry.
But as the boyfriend turns back to his girlfriend, he's like, hey, wait a minute, you're fading. Oh, wait a minute, I'm fading. Not quite those words, but like they're screaming, help us.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, Gao Yellow's on the scene, and he's looking around. He's running around for, because somebody's yelling for help. And just a bunch of running and running. And then he comes across the empty pavilion where the couple was. And they're still, like, yelling, help us. And then we get to look at their footprints. And
this is shot for shot in Wild Force, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Right down to dirt being used to discover
the invisible people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, come on, please help us. He's like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Like, a kid with a weird looking camera took our picture, and then suddenly our bodies. Yellow's like, what? He actually does make a call to the other rangers. He's like, hey, there's a camera that's making people invisible in the park. You gotta fucking do something about that.
So, the native cultures, as well as like Aboriginals and the Amish,
Mm-hmm.
have set beliefs against photography. Not well, Amish, of course, just because they have they look down at technology,
Right.
but like they have the distinct belief that for like to take a solid image of them, they take a part of their soul along with them. So in most cases, like if you're out in photography, like especially like in the Caribbean islands, they also frown down on people taking photos of them just by virtue of the fact that like they feel that you take a part of their soul. If you have like back in the day with Polaroids, and back in the olden time before Polaroids, where they actually had to use like powder and like flash powder and like to develop that photo. And actually, Orthodox Jews and I believe Hasidic Jews
Mm-hmm.
believe are fully against photography being done on Sundays and Jewish holy days.
Huh.
By virtue, not because it's against photography, it's more like they believe that the process of creation in any form during the Sabbath and holy days goes against what they're aspiring with the Sabbath for, because it's for rest. So any effort and work in creation is frowned down upon. So no photos on Sunday.
Hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. In case you were wondering about the cultural significance of having your soul taken from you because of photos, there was actual distinct belief in that in the past. So that's for the viewer,
All
the
right.
listener.
Good job. But anyway, Yellow's called White to, give her the skinny. Red takes the phone and is like, "Hey, Yellow, follow the rules. Acting alone." And she's like, he hung up. It's like, oh,
Like as soon as you pick up the phone,
yeah, as soon as you picked up the phone.
this conversation's over.
But Red's like, that's unforgettable. I have to go let him have it. I'm like, we better follow. This is gonna be bad.
I'm gonna give him that old what for.
Yeah. We cut back over to the kid, who, like, finds a group of girls. One of them he happens to know. I guess he knows all three of them, but he just, so maybe has a crush on this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But
definitely had a crush.
definitely, he takes her picture and he's like, "Hey, you want to be my model? So like for this photo contest?" She's like,
This time
"Yeah,
he asked for permission.
yeah."
This time.
This time, she's like, "All right, stand in front of this fountain. All right, now give me a big smile." And he goes to take her picture again, but she fades into nothingness, and he's like, "What the fuck?" That's when the org makes itself known as an actual org, transforming into a monster, the camera
Mm-hmm.
org. And he's like, "Do as I say, and I'll return her back to normal." Which, an obvious lie, but he's a kid, and he just made his friend disappear. So, yeah, I get it. So, we cut over to a hospital where it's just empty beds. Uh, it's it's good pantomiming. I enjoy that.
Oh yes,
There,
definitely. Like it just felt like it was their improv test. Like,
yeah.
all right,
And
so here's the scene, you guys. You gotta carry invisible people into the hospital beds. Go.
um, but the heart rate and all that stuff, it's dropping on these people. They're like, "Oh man, we can't allow any more victims. We got to go stop this." I do. I'm sorry. I know I've probably said this before, but I do like their jackets. I love the Gaoranger jackets. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yellow's like noble eagle, spirit of the earth, which is amazing.
I remember the super tailor that exists in an animarium that can make your jacket fit for you.
Yeah.
Like, here's hoping our Red Ranger fits this size when he comes in. I don't want him to be super jacked or have to make a new jacket.
Yeah.
Or not like Cole, who's just jacked on purpose. Like,
right.
that jacket's more like a vest.
But Gao Yellow comes across the kid in the camera, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute. Can I see your camera?" And the kid's like, no, bye, stranger danger." And runs away.
The first legitimate response in this episode, to be honest.
Honest. The kid's fast. He runs way ahead of Gao Yellow, who once again is a ranger, and I don't know.
This is before civilian powers, so I can see it.
Okay then. I was about to say,
like, if this was Dino Thunder, yeah, that kid would have already been found. Like, Like
Um.
the Red Ranger and Dino Thunder has lights, like can travel this like the speed of like sound if you felt so inclined. It just uses it to pose like an
Oh
idiot.
right, the Yellow Ranger has like her Terra Scream or whatever,
Yeah, and
and the Blue
Blue,
Ranger has the armor. Okay.
yeah, the armor. Yeah.
Um. So sorry. I was just wondering if like Sentai has like the morphing grid, like the way the Power Rangers does, because apparently the morphing grid supposedly is,
I
if the
I
comics are to
feel
be
like
believed. Um.
Sentai is like you once a ranger always a ranger, and I don't really think they actually have episodes where they just like deactivate their powers or
Mm-mm.
sacrifice it. Because I feel like the sacrifice part is more for like the definitive end of that show in like the Power Rangers equivalent. Like this
Fair
to
enough.
let you know that we're not going to have another episode after this, you guys. So the power is going to be deactivated, and then you have to explain why, like Johnny Young Bosch's Adam has like a whole new transformation sequence for his Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Like even though those power coins were destroyed, like
Right.
I guess he's still connected to the power grid. I
Fair
don't
enough.
think Sentai has a grid,
Okay.
and like
Because that was,
I think the grid is only like established in like the
it's a U.S. thing.
Kaizoku season
Mm.
as a way to establish a connection to Rangers, to Ranger powers in the past, because they use like in the 808 the 108 movie,
Mm-hmm.
they use like robotic doubles and give them the power of the Rangers
Oh,
to have an army against the army coming against them.
well, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I was just saying that like the morphing grid apparently like empowers you outside of being like a ranger, but
I mean, you would
if the
think
comics
because
are to be
like
believed.
you would think so. I mean, the comics have a like have the benefit of being made about 20 30 years after the Power Rangers
Hmm.
debuted. But like there has to be an excuse for how well the teenagers fare after getting their powers
Yeah.
versus how they fared prior to it, because Billy just randomly doing like karate after like 2 3 episodes when he was trying to just use his chest, like, and not doing very well against putties.
Fair enough.
But like something has to be done right. Like it has to give you like the spirit and power of like a ranger, so that way you can do your kung fu karate bullshit like 3 episodes after the fact that you like I saw you bumble, like I saw you fuck up, like I saw hip hop Kaido, like you tried doing that and it didn't work against the
Right.
putties, but like 3 episodes after, yeah, it's all you need, and you guys can dispatch an army by yourselves. Okay,
Okay.
something about the grid.
So Gao Yellow chases this kid to like a really shitty structure under a bridge. I don't even know what this is. But the camera's like, go ahead, take his picture. Gao Yellow's like, hey, why are you running from me? He's like, well, you're a fucking stranger, dummy. But he's like, the camera's like, go on, take his picture. Don't you want to save your friend? So this kid, uh, very reluctantly, is going to take Gao Yellow's picture, and Gao Yellow just stands there for it, which is wild to me.
He's just standing there.
Yeah,
Like, at no point did you at least try to fuck up the light around you, or like if you know
dodge.
you're about to get like dodge or anything. Like, it's really hard to difficult like to defend against a cone of light. Like
Yeah,
going forward, I get that you can't really like, but what you can do is at least disfigure the image. So move like, and it becomes a blur. At that point, I would think that like they can't take all of your visibility at that point because you made it
maybe
like fuck up the image. Like apparently they
something.
just have like perfect light all across Japan for these photos. Like as a person who actually dabbled in photography for their computer graphics degree, like finding light, natural light, is a nightmare, and I don't know how these guys get away with it.
But the kid does throw away the camera. He's like, no, I can't do it. And the camera then transforms so much like, dumb kid. And Gao Yellow transforms and there's going to be a fight now, which does not last very long.
Nope. It's a ranger against a powerful orc. That's not
Yep.
going to work out unless you got a battleizer. Then you can one man army your plot.
Well, I mean,
But
maybe
nope,
it would have gone
you're
better for
just
him.
Yellow Ranger.
Maybe it would have gone better for him if the one of the one horns didn't show up to like help out.
Oh yeah. I
So,
mean, I can imagine like one ranger being able to take on like Orgettes,
yeah,
like a whole band of them. That's an excuse. But like like Orgettes and one horn. Okay, nope.
yeah. No thanks. So the one horn org, whose name I've just forgotten this guy's name.
Yaiba.
Yaviba. There we go. He's like, I'm going to destroy you as a gift to Master Shuten. And they're like, Shuten, who's that? He's like, yeah, I don't need to tell you about that because you're going to die, so it doesn't matter.
Like this information is not important to you.
You're about to die. And so Gao Yellow valiantly does his best against Yaviba and is getting way fucked up. To which the other one...
Bet you wish you had that teamwork.
Yeah, bet you wish you had that teamwork. The other one horn walks out and she's like, hey, take that guy's picture.
Sui,
thank you. Sui hits the button, takes Gao Yellow's picture, and that's the end. That's the end of that fight.
Like, no, I can't be seen. I can't be seen, but like, what is keeping you from still not fighting? Like, apparently, you can't be seen. You have the benefit of like you have the benefit of not being seen. You have stealth, native stealth. Keep fighting.
Keep fighting.
What is that? Like, I get humans being like, oh, I can't see me. What's going on? I feel hurt. But I mean, at least they explain that, that does demorph you. Yeah, like getting your photo taken. So
he's demorphed.
Like,
and his life essence, it's leaving him.
Unexplained stomach pains. I can't.
We kind of
cue your Shatner. Cue your Shatner impression.
I don't have one of those.
No, I don't mean like I don't mean voice Shatner. I mean like in person Shatner.
Yeah.
Like overacting. Like
overacting.
Have you ever played the game Shatner with people? Like,
I have.
Like, okay,
never
cool. Oh, you've never done it? Oh, like. Whenever we wind up having groups of friends, if they're aware of what you're doing, yell out Shatner, and then they're forced to overact what they were doing at that time. Like, even if it's just overacting eating, just like going really into the bites or something like that, or just the fall over and be affected by some alien ray. It's a good friendship test.
But we cut back over to the orgs who are now in front of Shuten. They're like, hey, Master Shuten, we did it. We made a Gao Yellow invisible, which is awesome of us. And eventually he's going to die because, as they remain invisible, their life force gets drained from them. It's awesome.
We did great. We did good work today.
Shuten's like, hey, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead and take care of the other 4 Gaorangers, could ya? And he... gives the camera org a camera plunger.
Yep. So that way, he doesn't because
need other people.
He doesn't have to reach back. He has short arms, so he can't reach back to hit his own shutter.
Exactly.
So here's a plunger for posing purposes. Good luck, and if you guys win, we get a pizza party.
But he's like, oh man, this is awesome. Thank you for this plunger. He's like, now I can shoot the pictures all by myself. This is great. And then he walks out of there. We cut over to the Animarium, and they're like, hey, how do we get Gao Yellow back? And she's like, I don't fucking know. She just shakes her head. And then she's like, his life energy will continuously be drained until we do something about it. And he is just like, I can't sit here. I gotta go get the camera and get my body back. And he rushes out of there only to fall to the ground. And they're like, Yellow, do not force yourself. He's like, no, I'm not going to let it end like this. I'm gonna go take care of that org my way. And they're just looking at him like he's a dummy.
The power of himbo.
The power of himbo. Red runs up and says, "Hey, you know what? Even if it costs me my life, I'm gonna go get your body back for you. So be patient." And he runs out of there. And,
And I'm gonna do it by myself, despite the fact I made rules about teamwork. I got this.
The other Rangers do chase after him. They're like, "Hey, wait a minute!
You said teamwork.
It's a teamwork."
Yeah, we read this manual for nothing.
We get cuts of Gaoranger just running, and then whole groups of people just disappearing. Like it's a camera org. He's like, "Hey, come on, Gaoranger, show yourselves, because I'm fucking stuff up."
Apparently, I have infinite film.
Gaoranger's like, "Hey, I'm right here." He's like, "Ah, there you are, Gaoranger."
This would be handy in Fatal Frame, but whatever.
Yeah. He's like, "What'd you do to all those people and to Gao Yellow?" He's like, "Hey, I'm going to show you. Their life energy is on the film inside my body. And as they disappear, it'll keep draining to me. All these humans are just going to eventually die."
Thank you for explaining. Thank you for explaining your weakness. We're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah. We cut over.
The orgs are the greatest source of their own information.
They really are.
If you just get an org talking, they'd probably just tell you exactly like who the leadership is, where you can find them, what their like lunch order was last week, like where they get their copies taken, so that way Gal Red should know better than using the Animarian's Kinkos. Like all the hot secrets could be dropped if you just like let Susu talk for more than like 3 minutes.
Right, exactly. We cut over to the hospital and back to the Animarium where people are just groaning in pain from being invisible.
My light was taken from me. Yeah. I can't reflect light outwards, so that way you can see me.
So, Gaored's about to get his picture taken when he dives behind a rock. The org takes a picture of the rock, and the rock disappears. I guess the rock has life.
The rock has life energy. Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Some real bullshit.
Please note this carried over in the Wild Force too, and they do not explain it any further.
But Gaored runs away instead of like trying to transform or do anything.
Just taking advantage of the fact they found the one abandoned warehouse to where all these fights occur.
Yeah. And he's hiding behind a bunch of different things, including wooden boxes, a forklift.
Wooden's been generous. Yeah. I think there was a lot of cardboard because they have a lot of clashing to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just mostly just cardboard boxes, wooden boxes, typical warehouse fare.
Right. There's like, I'm kind of done playing hide and seek. And Gaored remembers that he promised to get Gao Yellow's body back, even if it costed him his life. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I did promise that." Whoops. And so he's looking through a mirror and sees like a bunch of like canisters and stuff high above where the camera org is going to be. He's like, "Hey, go ahead, take a picture of me, get a good one." And the org's like, so you have guts. The other Rangers appear actually morphed and like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Have you given up?
You fucking idiot!"
They can't do anything about it because all these, I forget what are they called, Orgets?
Yeah, Orgets, yeah.
Yeah. They appear and they're ready to like take on the Rangers basically and keep them busy while Gaored is going to die. Or at least they think he is. He's like, "Hey, don't worry." But we come back over to the org. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to take a great picture of you. Just be patient. It's your funeral." And Gaored's like, "Yeah, go for it. I'm in your sights. You got it. You got it, my guy. Focus." Which I don't know why he had to wait for him to like focus. It's so weird. But he's like, "Okay, I got you. You're locked on." The Rangers are like, "Hey, Red, do something. Move." The org moves his hand to hit the plunger, and that's when Gaored kicks a canister into a bunch of other canisters, falling on top of the org, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it." And then he transforms, which I feel like maybe he should have done to begin with.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Like it, but if he took the time to transform, which like, I don't know, did you ever play the 1 full 101?
I don't think so.
All right, so in Wonderful 101, the transformation sequence, while they're going through it, the narrator tells you that this thing is happening within microseconds.
Mm.
So, like, that's one of the things I liked most about that game, other than the fact it's a lot of like Sentai send up. That like as they're explaining all this in the Common Rider transformations that they're doing, they do mention that all of this that they're doing is within like 0.004 microseconds, and I like to carry that over in the Sentai so that way like it explains that all of these ornate like things that they do, like all the backflips and Dino Thunder, is all done within microseconds and it's just done for the viewer and not for like us. So like transformation could be done in less than a second, and they could be like, all right, and I can do something about it, like or transform and shoot like the lens or something like that. But
Mm.
nope, that doesn't occur in here. Instead, he stands there like a mook and then does a nice little kick move, and all right, we move on. But like you saw a reflective surface. You do know how cameras work, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like if you held up a mirror, this plot is over.
But he does attack the camera org until the film falls out. He grabs it, jumps outside, opens up the film, and releases everybody's soul, I guess.
All of you have your ability to be seen again.
Yes. Gao Yellow's like, oh yeah, I'm fucking back. He did it. He's very happy.
So
And
now, now I can do the uh the speech before we all transform to get our that the Red Ranger did last episode, and which will be just be a recurring theme whenever somebody has their own episode. They're the ones who does the speech about the spirits of the spirit of the animals. Hear our call for justice and everything of the sort.
right.
The I haven't have the transcribed speech. I didn't take notes that much. Um, but yeah, like it's just gonna be a recurring thing. If it's your episode, you get to say the speech. Congratulations! Don't fuck it up.
But everybody's back. Everybody gets their bodies back. And now the Rangers are ready to take on all the orgs. Um, the one horn org is like, hey, we got everybody here. Take a group photo of them. Let's just be done with this. The Rangers don't attack immediately for some reason, which is it's okay because Gao Yellow's here. He flies in, hits the lens of the monster, and it's like, hey, I'm here. Thanks for fucking saving me. Oh, by the way, you acted alone. Article 2, don't act alone. And Red's like, well, there are exceptions.
There are exceptions.
It's like, these rules mean nothing.
The way they flip it around in Wild Force, I forget the exact line, but oh no, wait, no, Taylor does mention that like you went against team. So the only rule we needed was teamwork. What happened with that? And Red just goes, I guess I'll let go this one time.
But he did. He broke the lens. The cameras cannot take any more pictures.
So now the camera work has to figure out another way to attack. Luckily, it does have a second special move, so it's not going to start using struggle. And proceeds to use camera film to bound the Rangers.
Yeah, after their introductions about being the noble eagle, the surging shark, etc. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that whole minute. We wasted a minute telling you exactly what they are again. Let's go.
Let's go.
We got 22 minutes. We got to wrap this shit up. So,
it's like, go ahead, get rid of
how do we?
Go ahead. Sorry.
So the camera org bounds the Red Ranger, and the Red Ranger decides this would be a good time to pull the ass pull of the century. Maybe my weapon has an alternate form. Like the red line is telling me that it has an alternate form, and it turns into a gun.
Turns into a gun. His punching thing turns into a goddamn gun.
In stores now.
In stores now.
So the Lion Blaster saves him from getting wrapped up in film, and he reforms it back into the fist thing, so that way they can form the Yakujuken.
He doesn't just form it back into
the
fist thing. He like splits it into two fist things.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's like he has he has two, he doesn't have just one fist. It's two
It's two.
whenever it's convenient.
Yeah, and he does like this biting attack. We get more great footage of the Rangers just running around like on all fours.
Mm-hmm. Doing that the special crawling technique where they just ram the horns into the nearest support structure,
Yes.
and that's the setup for the Akajuken. So they make that big ass sword that apparently the four other Rangers just stand by and watch Red lift up
Yeah.
without because that's the pose, that's the Sentai pose. It's always the five Rangers standing shoulder to shoulder while the middle one actually does all the heavy lifting.
They're feeding him their energy. That's how that works.
Just gotta hoist this big fucking metal object up.
But they kill the camera org, and they're like, "Oh no, Susu, could you do something about this?" And she's like, "Yeah, org seeds."
Susu, do juju. Susu, do juju.
Do your jutsu. The camera org revives into a giant, monster, as is
as you want
does.
to do.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, camera org, just take care of them all now. You're giant and huge. The Ranger's like, yeah, but we have big robots. So we're gonna call them.
You think growing would restore the lens, and now he can take like panoramic photos?
Oh,
but
you would think. No, he's not that smart.
Like the entire Hajime Bay would have just been taken a photo of and then just disappear, because apparently we just take like the life force of inanimate objects. This whole city is gone, but gone.
I guess before you can do that, the Rangers swords attack. Their animal spirits.
And like just claw out. I believe they still use the same footage in the Wild Force for the lion to claw at him.
Right.
And so at least they carried over that footage. And then they make their Zord.
Yeah, they don't transform right away to the Megazord or the Divine Spirit King.
Instead, they get themselves an opening.
Right, they give themselves an opening. But to me, it felt like, oh hey, the eagle did its wing thing and it was doing fine. But then the lion got punched and they were like, oh wait a minute, the lion got punched. We better transform for the swords. This did not go well. Its Spirit King.
Our boy got knocked out. Form up.
But they do. They make the Spirit King, and the org, instead of taking their photo, which is would have been the smart move, because he's got the time, he can do it. He does the film wrap again.
Oh yeah,
or at least he tries.
The way I see it, it's a metal object that might have a reflective surface. That would be the cheat. That would be the excuse I would use if I had to ass pull my excuse way.
I would agree with that ass pull and that excuse, except for the org itself says, "I want to take your final picture."
As it should. Like, I mean, there's a lot more photo puns in Wild Force.
Probably.
You should be happy you get to read these in subtitles.
Yeah.
You don't have to hear them.
But before I guess he could take the photo, they fuck him up, pop out his film, no photo. Which I don't know how he manages to do the whole film wrap thing or try to. Because they just
that's a very good question. It doesn't. I don't know. I mean, that's like saying the barbed wire org from last episode was depleting his own barbed wireness to wrap them up, and then it's more like it's just like an energy that takes the form of their gimmick. I would imagine, so that way they don't just leave like a whole roll of film on the floor when it all gets cut apart or everything of sort. Yeah, I think it's just an energy attack.
Okay. But before they can wrap around them, they use the shark sword to cut it up. And the org's like, oh shit, that's bad for me. Time to put more film into my body so I can just take that picture and be done with this. But the Rangers run up on him and start biting him with their different animal heads.
Yeah, they give him the three piece in the biscuit. The 3 piece in the soda. That's the line. They give him the 3 piece in the soda. Sorry,
Oh,
Jorge Masvidal for the win. That line is just perfect.
it's a good line. Um, so they're biting on him, and Gaora's like, "All right, time to use our special beam attack," and they hit him with this attack twice.
Twice.
They're like, "Nope, vibes are rancid," and the camera org is destroyed. Good job, Rangers.
The Care Bear stare works with 2 eyes.
The Rangers are like, "Yeah, we fucking did it. We're awesome. All right, let's get out of here." That's when the sky goes dark.
Fuck
And,
yeah, teamwork.
and Shuten appears in the sky. He's like, "Hey, you think you did good here? You didn't fucking do anything. You cannot get in my way. You can't get in our way. I'm gonna bury the earth with cries of horror and sadness. There's nothing you can fucking do. Bye." They're like, he's taunting us. Shooting, or whoever you are, I'll destroy you for sure. And they're like, shut up, Red. But I do like this better. I like this better. It's that cautious thing you were doing beforehand.
Yeah, they didn't put this scene in the Wild Force episode.
Did they not?
Nah,
No.
because they don't really know the Master Org like at all for like a good long period.
Oh,
yeah, because it would expose Cole's part in the plot. Like, yeah, he has a personal investment towards the Master Org.
I see.
Yeah, but that's for later on when we get through this, and episode by episode I'll tell you the exact distinguishes between, because they have a central protagonist in Wild Force and Master Org that recurs across at least 30 plus episodes. This one, nope. Everything is working towards the big guy, including all these Highness Duke orgs, the general orgs, but Highness Duke is just so hard to say, so I just say general.
Just say general, that's fine.
Yeah, so all these generals will fall for the Grand Leader, but you don't know what the Grand Leader is until we force into the plot. And oh man, he's figuring the plot. But that's not the point here. It's more of a matter of the Master Org, as far as there's questions in Wild Force whether the Master Org is actually an org, because he's just too human looking for them. Even though Toxica does looks human presenting.
Right.
So they should have a frame of reference that sometimes the orgs do look like humanoid, but I guess they do cast doubt towards whether the Master Org is who he says he is throughout Wild Force.
But yeah, that's how the episode ends, with them hey, Red, you being proactive rather than reactive, much better. And that's the end. That's the end of the episode. So, pretty good overall.
Yeah, I would say we're getting into the Monster of the Week episodes, but Monster of the Week set by here. So here's the central character. We're going to focus on one Ranger, and they get their own little background, get an idea what their lives were, how they operated. And then, there's some plot. So I believe the teaser for this episode, for next week's episode, is the Gao Black has a girlfriend that he gave up to be a ranger, and she figures back into plot somehow. At least that's what they teased.
I mean, that's just, to me, weird. They're like, what are they, Jedi? They can't have relationships? What is this?
Well, they're still operating under having identities, despite the fact that they walk out in jackets that have their symbol on it.
Right.
I don't get why they still operate on secret identities, but that's just a holdover from other shows.
Right.
I believe the next season they also still have secret identities, but at least it makes sense. It's a ninja school.
1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sorry about that, everybody.
That's okay.
There's lots of dog noise there. more than usual. So next, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for them to have secret identities next season, because ninjas.
Oh yeah, it's a whole ninja school like that. I, I, I mean, they operate like still in the public. Like one of them's a pro skater, the other is a BMXer. Tori is a singer. But like that's what they moonlight as rangers from academy since they were kids.
Right.
At least in this one, like one had an actual public job. Like one's a veterinarian, the other was like a goddamn florist. Like there's unassuming jobs. You can get away with like hiding your identity, but like you can still operate your public life. Like, but I can see why like you would want to hide the fact that you're a ranger and like because like orcs can just show up wherever.
Mm-hmm.
And like the last thing you want is to have a personal investment exposed to you in some way. Like no, you gotta stay in the animarium until an orc shows up and then save the day until all the orcs are gone and then you can go back to what you were
doing. Right.
It would just be good if they had an explanation. Like when we get into like Gao Yellow's history, that's a lot to process. But at least it explains why his hair looks so weird. Well, but yeah, that's for the future.
Yeah. But I think that's it for this week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, Justice Ray, where can people find you online if they want to talk to you about Rangers and stuff?
You can bug me on Twitter at Justice Ray with the one at for the first I believe. Yep, just replace the first I in Justice with the one and REI. So
there you go.
And where can they find you on Twitter?
You can find me
on social media.
You can find me, as always, on Twitter at ThatFirePrincess, spelled D-A-T. You can find me on the numerous podcasts I do, which is basically, they're all kind of like this, but just for different stuff, such as Let's Pull the Trigger on the podcast where I do this, but for everything by Studio Trigger, which was a mistake.
It's just don't relent. It's hard to process. Like going episode by episode just exposes you to it. Like, you gotta watch it. Like gotta watch a shotgun blast. You gotta so you can forget some of the Monster of the Week episodes.
Well, I also do a podcast about Gravity Falls called Pining for the Falls, where it's just this, but for Gravity Falls, which is a lot easier undertaking.
It's a lot more tolerable.
It's a lot more tolerable. And yeah, trying to get other podcasts back in working order. That's the problem when you work with people who sometimes have illnesses. It's not their fault. They just have to take time off. But hopefully we can get those working order again, and I will just have a crazy schedule. But yeah, that's it for me. Until next time, no call sign. I have no call sign for this because I can't.
Still.
I want to use their whatever there's pain and call out whatever thing, but I can never remember it.
Okay. I'll do it next week.
All right.
You guys hear it? Episode 4. We'll finally have a call sign.
Have a call sign.
Tune in. Look for it.
All right. Until next time. Laters.
Laters.